watching the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers blow an over 52.5 leg of my plays for the week. So congratulations to them on another lifeless performance. Art of Sport LA Bowls coming up next between California and UNLV. So we're gonna make some money back there. I'm confident. I'm actually not. I'm so not confident in that game. Like with Mendoza being in the portal and not playing in that game, I actually hate my play, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm committed to the process, so we're just going to see it through. So if you followed me, I apologize. Um, I didn't have all my ducks in a row. We're down to Bandit again. Um, Brandon is out. He said he was had a Christmas party to attend, which I think is just there's just a serious lack of heart in that statement right there. I could have gone to a Christmas party. I wasn't invited to one, but I could have found one. And I think you guys could have found one too, but we chose to be here instead. We chose to be committed to the process. I appreciate you guys for staying strong in the face of adversity. Hopefully, we see Brandon back next week, and he's got a different mindset, a better mindset. But for now, the games we have been waiting for, they're coming up this weekend. This is this is why we do what we do for this moment right here. The biggest games of the season coming up. The college football playoff has arrived, and I wrote down the four of us. The three of us are here to preview each one of them for you. Um, we'll also recap yeah, exactly. We'll also recap some of the games of the week that we had this past week. See how we did on our plays there. We'll also give a final prediction for national championship, and I think we're going to do like some MVP picks and maybe some bold predictions as well. So some fun stuff's planned. If we got time, we'll probably get into some portal news, which is just it's chaos. It's a carousel of
It's a
chaos.
crapshoot.
It's a crapshoot out there. But we'll go ahead and recap the 5 games from last week, or at least the 4 that I can do. Obviously, Cal and UNLV hasn't started yet, so I can't recap something that is future tense. But we'll go. Let's dive into Army Navy a little bit first. I think uh, I think this game didn't get enough shine because, like, America,
Yeah.
like I feel like I get the timing of it, and I like that it has its own like standalone like week whatever was it week 13 week whatever the week is. It has its
Yeah.
own like standalone thing, but like it's not on ESPN, and I mean it's there. It's like mentioned, but it's not. I feel like it should get. It's like such a cool event, and like all these important people from the military show up, and I just think it needs more love. So I'm glad we're getting to talk about it. Navy wins this one 31-13, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a
They
blowout.
took it. They took it to them. Big shout out to Navy. I think the Blake Horvath is his
Horvath.
last name.
Yeah.
He actually, I thought he was Bryson Daly, and I thought they like switched places for that game. He went crazy. He was like 204 yards on the ground or something, 4 total touchdowns. Heck of a day from him. Army's thing is running the ball, and when you run for 3 yards a game, you or 3 yards per play, you're not going to win that game when you don't throw the ball well. I think Daly also threw a couple interceptions, which is like weird because he threw in the first place. You guys have any thoughts on that one?
First one, 2 words, fireworks.
That happened. That
That
happened.
happened.
Like pretty
And
easily too.
oh yeah, and yeah, Navy kind of took it to him. It was kind of like a flip script. I expected Army to be able to pound and stop them on defense, and then it was the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was not being able to run the ball, and then uncharacteristic mistakes from Army is what kind of got them in the hole. And then once you're in the hole as a run first option, maybe not the best passing team, it's very hard to climb out of that hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, Cam, this game should have got more love. It was played in Washington, D.C. this year.
I mean, it's
You know,
massive.
like
It's a massive
it
event.
should have got more love than it did. But with that being said, I was pretty high on Army going into this game, but I think you're the one that tried talking me off the ledge by saying, hey, Army, they just played that conference championship.
Rest advantage.
Rest advantage showed to be true because Army did not look physical. They weren't playing as fast as usual. And, it's just, it wasn't there this week. And they got beat down for it.
If you're like a finesse team, rest advantage isn't like a massive thing. But if you're
Yeah,
one of those teams that's like tough and physical and you rely on like good tackling and you run the ball a lot, like having those like less days to recover really does make a difference.
yeah. And
And I think it did show here.
if Bryson Daly throws 2 picks, that just goes to show that they had to throw way too much to try to win this game.
Absolutely.
So
That's not their recipe.
no,
That is not their formula.
he used those 2 passes a game.
Yeah, 4 at the most. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had the Navy cover, which I guess I wasn't aggressive enough. And then Will had the over. Nate and Brandon both had the Army cover.
Army,
So
yeah.
if you followed me and Will, congratulations, you were up coin. Next game, not gonna spend a ton of time here. We got South Alabama, and I don't even remember who they played, but they did
Was it
Western Michigan.
Western Michigan?
Western Michigan, yeah. 30-23, pretty sure was a score. All of us had -7 South Alabama cover. They won by 7 exactly, so no harm, no foul. Big day from Jeremiah Webb, 6 receptions, 182 yards, and 2 touchdowns for South Alabama.
Spread
Good
was
day
7
him.
for that one. For
It
some
was
reason,
I thought it was
I had
8.
8.
No, that
I
was
think,
JMU.
yeah.
JMU was
Okay.
8. So
Because I
that's
know it's weird. So I do a pick 'em with my friends, like a bowl pick 'em.
Mhm.
The spread for that game on that one was 10.5.
Oh my
That's a
god.
ridiculous amount of
Yeah.
Yeah,
spread.
that went
I
crazy.
think I got it at -8 because that's what I originally said on here.
Well, then you lost.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm sure y'all are too. Like I'm
I
sick
wrote
and
7 for
tired.
everyone.
I'm tired of bowl season so far, and it's like South Alabama had such productive offense in the regular season, and then it's just they can't score, they can't stop. It's
Isn't South Alabama
I,
the team that dropped to like 84 earlier this year?
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I think it
man.
was
It's
87.
like, dude,
It's
I'm
like
telling you,
87-10.
bowl season is getting harder to predict than it has ever been.
It's because
And I was
competition's it's balanced the most it's ever been right now.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask if we wanted to like talk about this a little bit. It's kind of like it sucks a little bit because I actually like bowl games historically, but now I feel like it's kind of diluted in a way. Not just like the parity is one thing, and like a lot of the teams being very similar, and it's tougher to pick, obviously,
yeah,
but you don't know who's going to even play in the game. Like the
Yeah.
value of this
yeah,
bowl game is just so much less than it used to be. And I think that's the part that irritates me the most is like this could be like such a fun season for us to do picks for because there's so many good teams playing each other. But like if people are watching, they're not going to pay that much attention to it because the players aren't even paying attention to it. The
yeah,
players are focused on where they're going to transfer to next. So the only games that like make sense to cover past a certain point are the playoff games because those are the only teams that are really still invested. And I'm saying that that's not like every team, but it's enough for me to notice like for this Cal game, for example, it's like their best player said, "No, it's more important for me to focus on what's next in my career." Now, granted, I'm thinking Mendoza's probably going to go pro at some point. Like I'm pretty high on Mendoza, so like I get you got to make a business decision, but just how it dilutes the value of these games that used to be the thing that kept like coaches like employed.
yeah,
Like at least they like Kentucky's coach, like the well, at least we know we're going to go bowling. Like
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
like he had that every year, but now it doesn't. If you're not going to the
I
playoff, I
mean,
don't know. Does it matter?
I mean, outside of Georgia Tech and Vandy, which that's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be one of the best, lower bowls that there is.
I'm
But
watching
like,
that. I don't care.
yeah,
I'm watching. I'm watching that.
outside of that, you got the New Year's bowls and then the playoffs. And if you're not in those, it's kind of like, why aren't we here?
Yeah.
Like, and
What it
used to,
is,
I mean, dude, used to the Independence Bowl, I would watch that. I would watch, the Military Bowl. I'd watch every bowl there is. But now it's just,
Yeah.
it's New Year's bowls and playoffs. I mean, it's
There's
simple as
like
that.
there's like 10 postseason games that you're really gonna pay attention. Maybe 12.
Yeah.
Probably 12 postseason
I
games.
watched the Pop Tart Bowl. I'll watch that one.
that
Yeah.
one's gonna be fun. Yeah. What it
That'll be
is
fun.
it's the transfer portal, and not specifically that the transfer portal itself. It's when it's open. Why is
Yeah,
it open
In the
when
middle
games
of
are
the
still going
season,
on?
in playoffs,
man.
like
I
during the
understand to
postseason.
an extent because I mean, like semesters, you got to transfer over to that school. So like, because you got to be there technically by like mid January. That's when most schools start.
Yeah,
But like Do it after most bowl games. Like open it January 1st, and
Most kids
it's
don't go back
closed
to
January
school
10th.
Yeah.
until yeah, because most kids don't go back to school until mid to late January anyway. So you would
Hmm.
like, and that the process is 2 weeks long anyway. Maybe it's 3 weeks long. So like subtract it by a couple or by a week maybe. But I still
Yeah.
think you get like 18 days to be able to do it before most kids have to go back to school.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Which,
you're rushing to transfer anyways. Like it's going to be a quick process.
so do y'all
Yeah.
want to dive down that rabbit hole now or wait till we talk about transfer portal? Because I got a few
Um,
things.
let's get the other stuff done and we
Okay.
can go back into transfer portal because I knew I was going to go on like
Yeah.
a tangent with that. So let's get this stuff done first, and I think we should definitely have time to cover it at the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
Also, Will, I don't have YouTube pulled up. But I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good. I mean, we can. What's next? Playoffs
I
predictions.
just got one more game to cover, and
Okay,
then I'll actually kick it over to you, and while you do that,
cool.
but let me cover Memphis, West Virginia real quick. Uh, did you guys watch this one? I actually watched it.
I watched
It
the
was
end
like
of it.
it was a good game. It was
Yeah,
a
it was
really
a really
fun
good game.
game.
Yeah.
Both quarterbacks played super good. Memphis wins 42-37, and I just sneak the Memphis cover, which was -4.5.
I know it
Um,
was so annoying. That game, I know it looks it's still a close game because it was 42-37, but that game was closer than 5 points, and it's
oh
so
yeah, for
annoying to
sure.
me as I took West Virginia plus 4.5. They deserve to cover that game 100%. 100%.
No, I thought both teams. No one could stop anything defensively. There was no
No.
defense in this
That
game,
was
but like
expected.
offensively, both quarterbacks I thought played extremely good football. Like just watching them, I thought was it Garrett Green? Is that West
Hmm.
Virginia's? I think he's dynamic. I actually really like watching him play. Like with his arm and his legs, like he he cared about that game. Like he cared about that bowl game. That was good to see. I think there was another. I think it was Hudson Clement, West Virginia's receiver, absolutely torched whoever number one is on Memphis.
Yeah.
He torched him over and over and over
You
again.
called
It's
him out.
11 number one on Memphis. You gotta put the fries in the bag, man. 11
Put the fries in the
receptions,
bag, bro.
11 receptions, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had another one that was like a 52-yard gainer. He just dropped it in the end zone. Like he was torching this guy. Um, Western Kentucky, James Madison. James Madison won. They covered, so they won by 10. If you guys, I think a couple of you guys had the -8. Two of us had the over, which did not happen because Western Kentucky, I think, turned the ball over a couple times and they kind of choked the game
Yeah,
away. They
wasn't
didn't.
Western Kentucky up at one point? It was like I saw it was like
14-7
14-7.
at
Yeah.
half.
Yeah.
At half,
Because
they were up 14-7.
I had JMU by a touchdown at half, and I think I told Cam earlier that first half was a punt
Oh yeah,
fest,
that's
man.
tough. That's a
It was
bad beat.
awful.
I think was I the only one
Go
that
ahead.
had JMU cover there?
I thought
Bro,
no. Me and Brandon had the over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're the only one. Nice job, Will.
JMU would easily drive the ball 50 yards and then just 3-and-out punt.
Yeah.
Like it's
California and UNLV just started. No one scored yet, so the over's looking good. But we're only like 4 minutes in, so
Yeah.
we're straight.
UNLV money line, baby. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
think
right. That they
What-
ended up being favored
I know by like
after. But when it's all
3.
said and done, they're favored by
Yeah.
3.5 now. So like if
I
you
Yeah.
took it
caught
at
the,
plus money.
I know you like lost some, or you had some value, like some
Oh
serious
yeah.
value now. I think Brandon took them to cover Cal to cover by 1, and now they're like 4-point underdogs. Okay, so go ahead and I'm gonna pull up YouTube. Go ahead and start us off with the college football playoff, and you
Sweet.
just take it wherever you want to go. I'm
All right,
along for the ride.
first we'll go into it. We'll do bold prediction, then go into each and everyone's brackets. We'll talk through it, and then after that, we'll pick an MVP of the college football playoff. So Nate, what is your bold prediction for this college football playoff?
I don't want to say teams yet because you'll see when we go through the brackets. There will be one major upset in this year's college football playoff.
Okay. I'll go to mine.
Ask me the question. Ask me the question. I
Cam,
wanna
what
go.
is your bold prediction for this college football playoff?
Clemson makes it to the semifinals.
I like it. I had written
Clemson
down.
semifinals.
I had written down that one double-digit seed makes it to the semifinals, but I'm going to go a different direction.
Okay.
And this is only for the first round. Every single game in the first round goes under the point total. Every game.
I'm losing some money then.
Ooh, see,
I've got 2 of them going over.
I'm split.
I think
Oh no, I'm not. Never mind. I'm with you, Will.
I think Penn
Are
State,
you?
Yeah,
SMU, the weather can affect that. I think that's the game that's most likely to go over.
That's what
So
I have that one going
yeah.
over.
So I'm taking the weather coming into effect with that one, affecting Penn State a little bit and SMU a little more. Indiana, Notre Dame. I think this is the most complete team Notre Dame has faced all year. So I think it's going to be kind of like a feel it out for the first half. Texas, Clemson. I don't think Clemson is going to score that much. And we've seen Texas not score that much as well. And then Ohio State, Tennessee. I think those are 2 top 5, top 10 defenses in the country. So, yeah, every single game in round 1 goes under the point total.
I like the under in Tennessee and Ohio State.
100%.
I think that number's like where it should be, but I still would lean regardless, I would still lean under. Those are 2 really good defenses. The
Mhm.
one that I like for sure have going over is SMU and Penn State.
Do you have? Is Tennessee at 46 still?
46 and a
I
half is what
saw
I
it
got
at
it
46 and a half.
Okay, I saw it at 46. I would definitely get that bought up to a half. Okay.
Yeah, it's I think there's going to be a little bit like we've never seen a 12-team playoff, and I think people are coming into this with super high expectations, super like amazing offensive explosion games. I think it's going to like flip. I think
Nick,
there's going to be some defensive games.
I don't know if y'all heard it, but Nick Saban came out and said the winner of this playoff will have the best trenches. You know, it's going to come down.
That's what wins
Who's
every
got the
football
best
game.
lineman?
It's generally a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's better defenses in this than I think there is offenses.
Like 99% of the time, like we've seen like teams with not so great trenches and skill players win games, but never win a championship. Like
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker with Tennessee, their skill players were elite. They could win a game like they did against Bama.
Yeah, but
Then I think they ended up going 9-3 that year or something like that. So
with that being said, though, I think this playoff, like the D line, could literally win games for teams.
oh yeah, I think Penn State SMU will be decided by the D line. Who can stop the run the most?
I got my guess.
I wrote that down.
It's legitimately.
If I
want
want to see where chats would be, where would I look on my phone?
just so basically, like you'll pull up like there should be like a comment section, and
Yep.
you'll like it'll if someone chats one, and it'll pop up there.
Excellent.
We got old man Cam over here and it's usually me and Brandon looking at the chats now. It's old man Cam doing it.
Pulling double duty here.
Usually,
right,
usually there's not a ton, so you just basically like glance down.
I just don't want to miss anything from I don't want to miss anything from the viewers. Should be good.
Most of them pop up for me on both, but I just want to make sure.
Cool. All right, what else you got? What's next?
Now we're gonna go into every single person's college football playoff predictions. Who would like to go first?
Nate wants to go first.
Yeah,
Nate,
I volunteer.
Let me pull this up real quick. Going back to it.
There's gonna be a lot of similarities, I believe, between all of us.
So Nate, we're gonna go through every single game. Okay. So
do you want my pick for the games too?
No. Just pick for winner, loser, every single game of the tournament.
And then we'll talk when it's done.
I mean, you can like go in a little bit in depth. Yeah, go through it like what your reasoning is.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll start with Texas and Clemson. I'm kind of going against what Cam has been saying here. To me, this is sort of a no-brainer. I think Texas is just much more physical on the defensive side of the ball. I know they have struggled with offense more, but I still think they can score enough to easily win this game. So give me Texas.
Okay.
Man, this is one of those games we said this is going to be one in the trenches. Tennessee's got one of the best D-line in the country. Ohio State is a struggling handicapped offensive line right now. and I'll just say I don't like Ryan Day. Give me Tennessee. They're going to
That's
go up
gonna
there
cause
and
some
take that
This is
win.
chaos.
the theme for 2024.
Now, I just think
I
like
don't like Ryan Day.
no, it's like seriously, like this could possibly be a 6-3 ball game in the first half. Like
I could see
it
it being 3-3,
yeah, I mean
0-0.
like I mean Tennessee Sean's explode later in the game, but we'll see. Um Next game, Penn State SMU. I think this is another game that solely comes down to the defensive line, offensive line, who's more physical. I think Penn State's just a bigger, faster team. And they've been tested more. So give me Penn State. This game was a little tougher, but I do think what Notre Dame's going to be able to do is slow the game down, not let Indiana go out there and throw it 45, 50 times like they typically do. So I think with that, the clock's going to run. Indiana's not going to have too much time, so give me Notre Dame.
Okay, going to
right.
Texas, Arizona State.
All right. Arizona State's hot, man, but at the end of the day, I think this is just another situation where Texas's defensive line is just going to outmatch them. So give me Texas. Oregon, Tennessee. I'll just keep it simple. Oregon's the only team in here that we hadn't saw flaws from this year, and I really don't think if Oregon scores 21, they win that ball game. I mean, I just don't see Tennessee scoring a lot again in that one, so give me Oregon. Now, this game. This is where I'm predicting the upset in the college football playoff. No, listen. Out of all the games, I think this is the one that could beat it. Penn State they don't get a bye, right? Ashton Genty's been on his couch for 2 weeks. He's going to be well rested. Boise State showed they can hang with teams like Oregon. I think they are going to give Penn State some trouble in this. I think Penn State will be beat up a little bit more, so give me Boise State in this.
It's bold.
It's bold, but
that's
listen,
one word for it.
No, it's bold, but I do think this is the only possible upset in this bracket. Out of Arizona State, Boise State, SMU, you can say Indiana if you want. Like, I think Boise State is the one that could pull it off. And Clemson. I think Boise State's the one that could pull it that second round. Georgia, Notre Dame, I think, like I told you earlier in the year, I just do not see Notre Dame going out there competing with Georgia. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game, but at the end, Kirby Smart is a much better coach than Marcus Freeman. That's what it comes down to. I think Gunnar Stockton is going to come out, play ball, have a good game. So give me Georgia.
Okay.
All right. And then this is where Texas's downfall hits. Quinn Ewers got them through 2 games, and that's about it because they are not going to score enough to keep up with Oregon. So give me Oregon going to the national championship, and they will be facing not a Cinderella team. Give me the Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby Smart will get them there, and then when he gets there, that's it. Oregon wins. So
okay. I like it. I agree with almost all
I
of
agree
your
with
first round picks.
80% of it. 80%.
Like the Ohio State Tennessee game is like a pick 'em for me. It's a tough one. Indiana's my darling, my sweet darling. So I don't like to see it, even though I understand why you picked it. Then we go to the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Boise. That's the one that I'm
Listen,
like.
The main thing behind this, and I'm just it's a little outside the box. I get it, but I feel like there is going to be a game in this playoff that's going to shock everyone. I think this is the only game that it could possibly happen because the best running back in the country is going to have 2 or 3 weeks off. And Penn State, I'll be honest, I'm not a James Franklin guy either, but they're going to, I hate to say this because SMU is not going to be as physical, but they're still going to be beat up. They're playing an extra game. And I think Genty's going to go in there with 35, 40 fresh carries. And it's going to be, it's going to be, well, I don't even know, where's that game going to be played at?
It's in the Fiesta Bowl. I can see your script.
So it's indoor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's indoor. I can see your script. Do I agree with it? No. Just because I think Penn State is, no matter if they're beat up or not, they're significantly more physical than Boise State no matter what. And I think what they're going to do is legitimately sell out against Genty. And then I do not trust Maddox Madsen, I think that's his name, to throw the ball against
No.
Penn State's defense.
I will
Not
say
one
that
bit.
I will say this though. If Genty can average, typically 4 or 5 yards a carry, like he has been, or actually averages more than that. If he averages around 4 carry and they can slow the game down and burn clock and keep it close, I think they could win this game.
The game's going to be decided on first down. Does
Yeah.
Boise State stay ahead of the chains? If they don't, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I just personally think this is possibly the only upset that could happen in this bracket, and I think Boise State could possibly pull it off with Genty.
I think Boise State can cover if the line's like 20.
I think I was listening to Josh Pate earlier today. If this matchup happens, the spread will be Penn State minus 11.5 as of right now, which I don't mind taking Boise State to cover there. That's fine with me. It's tough. It'd be I think it'd be a little closer for me. I think I would still lean Penn State, but I can see Boise State covering because 11.5 is a lot of points.
So let me just ask this: out of the 4 teams that's iffy, Boise State, SMU, Clemson, Arizona State, who's the best team out of those?
SMU.
Who?
I was thinking
See,
SMU
that's
or
where
Arizona State for me.
that's where we're different. I think Boise State does have the edge with their run game.
I think
but,
Arizona State is the hottest. I think
Yes,
SMU is the most talented.
Yes. But I just think in all the second round matchups, like Penn State's going to be the most vulnerable. I mean, and they've shown that in the past. So
for me, it'd be Arizona State strictly because we've mentioned Arizona State, Boise State, Clemson, and SMU. For me, SMU just got beat by Clemson,
Yeah.
so it can't be them over Clemson. I still think technically that they're better than Clemson, but for me, it can't be them. And then I see, okay, if Clemson beats Texas, who am I going to pick to win that football game? It's Arizona State.
This is my thing. I got Oregon in the national championship, winning it actually. They could not stop that man.
Yes, but that was also second game of the year. I think the one you mentioned, so we haven't seen flaws from Oregon. We saw it the first 2 to 3 weeks, but then they have fixed it, and we haven't really seen one until maybe the Penn State game.
Dude, for 12 weeks, when is Genty going to get stopped? When's he going to get stopped? He never got stopped. I mean, even teams like UNLV sold out for Genty, and he still rushed for 200 yards.
I just think if there's a difference between UNLV and Penn State selling out. UNLV is significantly smaller than Penn State.
I definitely get that. But if you got 6 guys attacking Genty, no matter who you are, you got to stop the man.
And Penn State, when they play Boise State, will have the best player on the football field. Abdul Carter is a dog, and he can wreck a game.
Top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I think if Boise State can stay ahead of the chains, I think they win this game.
Yeah, the game's going to be won on first down.
Yeah.
If Boise State is ahead of the chains, they will maybe not win the game, but keep it close. If they're
which is crazy.
It's a blowout.
I think there's a better chance Boise State beats Penn State than Arizona State beats Texas. I mean, I just think Boise State could actually. I ain't gonna say go against Texas because Texas probably has the second, possibly third D line.
I can see it because I think Texas's defense is not significantly, but better than Penn State's defense, and I trust Genty a little more than Scottsdale.
If Boise State was playing anybody else in the second round outside of Arizona State, I'd be more confident. But
playing anyone else,
yeah, I think Penn State's their best matchup.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant if they were playing Georgia, you'd be more confident than no.
I think Penn State's their best matchup that they could have drawn.
Probably.
Now, if SMU somehow wins that first game, then we're having a totally different conversation.
I think I saw something too. SMU would be favored by 6.5 if they play, and that one
I'm not even
I might
sold.
take SMU to cover there.
I see. I'm not even sold on that
I agree with that
because a touchdown's not that bad.
No.
And SMU's run defense has actually been kind of elite this year.
And where did you say that game would be?
Fiesta Bowl, so Arizona.
Yeah. It is indoors, so
yeah.
Just saying.
No weather or anything like that. I think the only outdoor game would be the game in Oregon because that's the Rose Bowl. Because I think Georgia is being played in the Superdome. The Fiesta Bowl is in Arizona, then Texas is playing or Arizona State's playing in Atlanta.
So if Tennessee beats Ohio State in Ohio, then they got to turn around and go to California.
Yeah, it's a tough road. that little like subsection of the Tennessee, Ohio State, Oregon, that is the toughest
That's a gauntlet.
section in there. And honestly, I want to say whoever makes it out of there wins the natty, but they might be so beat up that they lose a game.
I thought about that. I thought about that.
But yeah, we want to go
Want
to
to go to the
Cam's.
next one? Yep,
Yeah,
let's
let's
do it.
do it. All right, here we go, Cam.
All right, Clemson's beating Texas.
Okay.
Bro, that's bolder than Boise State.
I don't think it is. If you guys, okay, so we watched Clemson play South Carolina and how competitive that game was. If they can stymie South Carolina, who I think has a more explosive offense than Texas, they can
agree.
obviously limit Texas's offense. The question
Spread's
at
about the
that
same.
point, the question at that point is, does Clemson score enough to win? Clemson's offensive line has been getting more and more healthy the last 3 or 4 weeks, and you've seen it. They did a good job scoring against SMU. They didn't necessarily run the ball, but Cade Klubnik is kind of an X factor. He's a very dynamic passer, very dynamic runner. Texas has not been proven to stop a guy that can do both. They've stopped guys that can do one or the other, but they haven't stopped a guy that can do both. I think this is
Shocker
a
to that.
perfect
The
perfect
ACC guy.
opportunity.
The
I would,
ACC guy chooses
yeah,
Clemson.
I would still argue that Texas's D line is better than South Carolina's as of this year.
I think
As of
South
right now,
Carolina had a
yeah.
great D line.
No, they did. They did.
I would take South Carolina in a pass rushing situation, but I'd take
Mhm.
Texas in a run stopping situation.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I'll do more detail on that, but yes, Clemson wins that football game. Tennessee beats Ohio State.
Okay.
I wrote a lot of stuff down. So when we go over our picks, I'll give you like a lot of my little nuggets, but I'm going to equate a lot of what Ohio State, is going to want to do to what they tried to do against Michigan, who is a worse version of Tennessee. Because Tennessee also has a quarterback that can throw the ball.
Yeah.
SMU, Penn State. Penn State wins the football game.
I knew you wanted to do it.
I wanted to, but dude, they travel okay, but like going to Penn State on a whiteout, it's not going to be good conditions. Rhett
I think,
Lashley said that it didn't matter, but I
the
think it's
cold is
going to
going to
matter.
affect them.
It's going to matter. I think they can score. I don't think they can stop them. Because I watched Penn State score in multiple facets against Oregon, and I'm worried that that's going to carry over into the next game. So I do have Penn State winning. Last one, Indiana, Notre Dame. Notre Dame wins this football game. I actually don't have it being as competitive as other people think it's going to be. I think Notre Dame takes care of business here. Back to the other side, Clemson wins the football game against Arizona State.
That one I can agree with.
This is a pick 'em to me. I think both these teams do certain things very well, and they both have glaring weaknesses. I think this is like if these two teams played, I think that's a great football game. I think it's a really
It's the best
good
game of the tournament, best game
I
of the
think it's
playoff because I think it's like a
really
45-40
evenly
game.
matched. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tennessee and Oregon. I'm taking Oregon. They're going to be rested. Tennessee, if they win, whoever wins that game they're not going to be as fresh as Oregon. And Oregon, as the number 1 seed, the only team that hasn't been beaten, and they got two extra weeks of rest. Like I have a hard time seeing them lose a game.
Yeah.
Penn State and Boise State. I am not a believer. Penn State wins this, and I think they win by 2 touchdowns. Notre Dame and Georgia. Some questions about the backup quarterback, but a lot of that was alleviated when I watched him because Gunnar didn't. It's not like he had to hold a lead; like he had to come back and beat a team, and so that to me that showed that they play for him, and I think that's going to be enough to at least beat Notre Dame. So Georgia wins that football game. Back on the other side, the run ends. Oregon, Clemson doesn't match up. That's a bad matchup for
Horrible
Clemson.
matchup.
Yeah, and what Oregon can do. So even if like the rest was the same, like it's just not a good matchup defensively, and definitely not offensively.
Man, if that game happens, that's a semifinal blowout.
Yeah, I think that game is probably a couple touchdowns, maybe more for
Probably.
Oregon. Penn State and Georgia. I was so sold on Georgia until I watched Penn State like really take Oregon to the wire. Like just the way that they were able to engage in a shootout and be competitive. This actually I think will be a fantastic football game. I'm going to give the edge to Georgia because of Kirby Smart, not because of the players. I just think big games. I think there's a coach that wins big games and there's a coach that loses big games and they're playing each other. So I give the edge to Kirby, not
Fair.
necessarily Georgia. Um, this one, I I think Georgia has the easier road, so I wanted to go with them, but I have an MVP pick that is kind of predicated on this team winning. So give me Oregon and what I think is going to be another dogfight.
I don't even know if that's a great matchup for Georgia. Honestly, depends on
It
which Georgia shows up.
it isn't great because Oregon can actually defend the pass a little bit,
Yeah,
and Georgia hasn't been explosive running the ball. So I actually don't like that matchup for Georgia. I think they can will their way to it being super competitive, but until Oregon loses, I kind of have to assume that close game like that, they know how to win those. You've been
yeah,
That
watching them win
one
those.
that one depends on which Oregon defense shows up. If it's the Penn State one, then I think Georgia keeps it close.
I
Or,
think so.
but if it's like the Oregon defense that we've been seeing a lot this year, do I think it's a blowout? No, but I think it could get to 2 scores. Maybe
I
maybe
was gonna say
maybe not like
10.
maybe not like 14, but maybe like a 9 or
I
a
was gonna
10
say
or an
10.
11, something like that.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say
But
10.
that's what I'd say. It depends on which
That's
Oregon defense shows up.
that is the one where I'm like, if Beck is there, like a good Beck, like a healthy Carson Beck who's playing well, they can win that game. I can't trust Gunner past a certain point. And against the number one team that hasn't been beaten yet, it's hard for me to pick a backup quarterback to beat them, regardless of the skill set I think he might have.
Yeah, yeah. I think I like Gunner. I think they play for him. But the one thing that we saw in the Texas game was that when he gets pressure in a pressure situation, he just threw the ball up and it
Uh, I
went
was
right to a Texas
I was
DB.
about to say
I
it
mean,
goes
we've
fast.
seen.
It starts to go fast for him.
Hey,
Like he doesn't process in time.
I've seen Carson Beck do that a couple times this year.
Yeah, I mean,
Facts. And if
like,
he's gonna
and
do it, then the backup is almost certainly gonna do it.
yeah, I mean, like, Georgia's the one team like in this tournament that I think can be fine with that,
Yeah,
because they have all year.
I also
But
agree.
there's only so much you can do it. Like we saw Beck do it, and it kind of bit them in the Alabama game and then we saw him do it against. There weren't really too much turnovers in the Ole Miss game, but Carson Beck was not at his best and bit them
Yeah,
there.
it was clean, but operationally. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
turnovers, but it wasn't explosive. Like it was a pretty stymied offense.
and then I think it should have bit them in the Texas game, but Texas kind of sold that one.
Yeah,
In the second one, the first one, that was a domination.
yeah, that was Georgia defense at its best.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's mine. Will, you want to do yours?
let's do it. So I guess as let's see here, got a some comments coming in real quick as well, about 10 minutes ago.
Well, hold on. I didn't. I'm
No,
dropping the
this
ball
one
here.
popped up on mine. You're fine.
Okay, all right. I was about to say
Said
I'm dropping the ball.
give me Georgia winning it all. Fuck the Gators. Fuck you. Um, and then said, how do y'all feel about Thad Castle and Terry Tate competing for the best linebacker of the year? I mean, those are two great
All
linebackers.
timers.
Like, I mean, it's kind of like, why are we debating it? Like, it's like the LeBron Jordan debate. Just appreciate that they're both great. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many like
Different time
pros and
periods too.
cons.
Different
Yeah,
games.
like
Different games.
they're both elite at what they do. So, like, appreciate it. Um, like Thad, he's gonna protect you. He's gonna hit people on the field and protect you off the field. So, I mean, like, like we gotta just appreciate that they're elite at their craft.
Elite. The best in the
If I
business.
had to choose, I mean, you just have to go with the name Thad, kind of. Like
He's
that just
Thad.
it just seems like a linebacker name, Thad. Like he's like Luke Kuechly, one of the most talented linebackers of all time. Just it kind of ended too quickly. But I will go over to mine. For those of you who do not know, those people are not real. So
Yes, they are.
so do not
Yes,
take
they are.
any word that we say into that one.
No, Thad should have won Heisman.
He should have. He should have. If last year was one of the weakest Heisman of all time, if he was playing that year, he would have won it. But yeah, going into mine, I am not doing what Cam just did. Texas is winning that game. I don't think it's particularly close because I think Texas will get Arch Manning more involved because people are begging them to, and Sark kind of sees that they have to now. So I think he will be more involved, kind of at an element that we didn't see in the Georgia game where
Yeah.
there's a quarterback, hey, he can move, We're not just going to like sell out for the RB run and the pass.
Quinn's out the door.
Yeah. Then we're going to go over to Tennessee, Ohio State. I think this game is close. I think it's a dogfight, but I think Ohio State wins. Might be a little Big Ten homer pick here. I just don't trust that they're going to let Nico throw the ball. I love Dylan Sampson. He's probably, besides GNT, I think he might be a little bit better than Scatabo. It's close between the two. He's up there. Like he's doing it against the best comp in the nation.
Yeah.
One as our running back of the year in the SEC for a reason. He's going to be good. So I have Ohio State in that one because I trust their defense a little bit more, and then I trust that they have a little bit better weapons on the outside for Will Howard to be able to throw it at least a little bit. But I think this game is
Just if they decide to
legitimately,
use them.
yeah, I think it's legitimately a 16-13 ball game. Ohio State they get a Tennessee maybe makes a mistake towards the end of the game. Like Nico, his freshman, comes out, makes a mistake, and then they have a drive of their life to get into field goal range, and Ohio State kicks a field goal to win it. This game is 7.5 is a ridiculous spread to me, to be honest. Next one, Penn State. Don't really got to say much. I think, like they match up. Like what Penn State does well, SMU does well. It's just Penn State does it a little better on in every single facet of the game, even in freaking penalties. Penn State's better at it. They're still not great, but even they're just a tiny bit better than SMU at every single facet of the game. So I think I'm gonna have Penn State with that one. And they honestly impressed me with Oregon. Even in a loss, I'm more confident in them than I was back then. Next one, I know you guys have been waiting for this one. My darling Indiana, Notre
I wonder
Dame.
who he has.
I'm gonna go Notre Dame. I think this game is very close. Like, I wouldn't. I every fiber in my being wanted to go Indiana, every single bit. Then I was like, okay, who do I trust more? Indiana's offensive line or Notre Dame's defensive line?
Yep.
It's sadly Notre Dame's defensive line because the Indiana left tackle needs to put the fries in the bag. I wanted to go Indiana so bad. Will I be shocked if they win? Hell no. But
I'd be pretty surprised.
I don't think I would because I think Indiana, they're a little. They're slept on. They just are.
They're in the College Football Playoff. They're not
and
slept on.
everyone's writing them off immediately because they got a
No,
draw against a team that
I've
lost to
been
Northern
writing them
Illinois.
off all year, and I'm going to continue to do it.
But they ain't right back, did they now? Next one, don't even think it's really close again. I think Texas kind of makes a statement with these two games right here. I think I think I think they win both by 2 scores. 3 scores actually. Give me 3 scores. 17 plus in both of them. I think both these teams, Clemson has to hit explosive plays. Texas does not give up explosive plays. Arizona
What a
State
matchup.
has to run the football. They're not going to be able to run the football against Texas. So, yeah, I think there's that. And then going into what was considered one of the games of the year back in Eugene in like week 7 or something like that. We're going to go to Oregon. I think Ohio State's going to be kind of beat up, like we've said before. So I think Oregon's going to win that football game. And kind of, I don't think it's going to be as close as it was last time. I think Oregon wins by 7 in that one. Then not doing what Nate did
Uh-huh.
at all. Penn State's winning that football game. They are clearly the better team in every single facet of the game. I'd even take them to rush for more yards than Boise State this game, strictly because Boise State does not have the O line for it.
Will, who's got a better chance to win, Boise State or Clemson?
I think Texas is better than Penn State, but I think Clemson's better than Boise.
What an answer.
I'm gonna go. I would say Boise. It's close,
Okay.
strictly because I do not trust James Franklin. It's the
So that
only
just
reason.
so that goes to say that Clemson for Cam is more bold than my Boise State pick.
I didn't say it wasn't bold. I got him in
Okay.
the semifinals.
Yeah, it's something. I don't know if it's bold, but it's something. Um, then we're gonna go to my bold pick. No, I'm kidding. We're going
Ooh.
Georgia. We're
Oh,
going Georgia.
got me.
I want to go Notre Dame.
I really considered it, honestly.
I think it's like a pretty good matchup. I think it's a close
Yeah.
game, but I don't trust. I trust Kirby Smart a hell of a lot more than Marcus Freeman.
Oh, for
So
sure.
much more.
I think he's gonna be a good coach one day, though. Marcus
I think
Freeman.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be good.
he can be fine. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be like the
Boys play
he-
for him.
yeah, he'll be like a top 15 coach for like probably the rest of his
Well,
career, but
well,
I don't know if
Brian
he's ever
Brian
like that top 5. Like,
Brian Kelly Jr.
no. Yeah, Marcus Freeman isn't going to go to the South and then fake a country accent and then do that freaking whatever that recruiting video is with
That was crazy.
that
Playing to the people.
I cannot see Marcus Freeman doing that ever.
No, I can't even see him smiling.
Yeah. Then we'll go to Oregon, Texas. I think right here, this game is the game of the college football playoff. Whoever wins this game is winning the national championship.
You love Texas. Big
I
fan.
think they're a solid
Big
football
fan.
team, and it's mainly because, and it's wishful thinking, they're gonna get Arch involved. If they don't, then I think they could lose to Clemson.
I mean, right now though, when you're thinking about Texas, like don't get me wrong, I picked them to win the first 2 games, but you just gotta assume Quinn's still their main guy. Like
That's what I'm assuming until
He'll
proven
still be the
differently.
main guy, but if
Like-
Arch is in there for 10 plays, 5 plays, I think it adds an element where he will either, because they're so focused on Arch running the ball, he's going to hit him with a bomb, or Arch will have an explosive run.
I think
like
I
that.
think Art should have already started 4 games and be their primary QB. But
I'm with you.
Me too.
I don't think Quinn's right. I don't think Quinn is right. Something's
Not,
wrong with it.
dude, you've seen soccer quarterbacks, especially like at Alabama and other places he's been. Like Quinn's not the guy for that right now.
Yeah, I think it's a tough matchup for Texas, but I think it's also a tough matchup for Oregon. Both defenses are really good, and I think Texas's offense will do, will be able to keep this game close, and that's why I think Texas is going to win this football game. As the Big Ten guy, it pains me to do it, but I think Texas has an easy road. They get Clemson, they get Arizona State. I think they're riding high, and then Oregon has a dogfight against Ohio State. So that's the only reason I think Texas will be or Oregon will be kind of beat up, and then Texas will kind of be able to match up pretty well.
Must be nice being the 5 and 6 seeds.
Brandon's not here, so someone's got to do some bold picks because it's always him.
That's why I did mine. That's why I went bold.
I went bold.
See?
He did tell me earlier who he thinks is winning it all, and I'm sure we can all assume.
Georgia's
Yeah.
winning
Yeah.
Georgia's winning it all.
Correct.
And then I'm going to go over here. This, like Cam said, is a great game. And I'm going to go with, I think coaching matters, but I also think quarterback play matters. Who has the better quarterback? I think it's Penn State, but also who has the better coach? It is significantly better with Georgia. But I just don't think Georgia's offense will be able to do enough. I think Georgia's O line will not be able to hold Abdul Carter at all. Straight up. I think he gets 2 sacks in this game and Penn State moves on to the national
Bro,
championship.
you want to talk about how bad the ratings for that game would be?
I think this is fine.
Nah,
Texas
dude,
is
that would
probably
be awful.
the biggest
That would
name
be
in
awful.
college football.
Nobody wants to
And then
watch
you get
Texas
Penn
play
State.
Penn State.
I think this will be a great game.
Yeah, 6-3 national
Texas
championship.
wins the national championship.
Bro.
I like your Penn State route though. Penn State really impressed me with how they played Oregon. Like that opened my eyes. I didn't really believe in them. I thought they had like a cupcake schedule and weren't equipped for anything beyond the regular season. But after watching what they did against Oregon, like even though they lost the game, like I think they can win in multiple facets if they need to.
Is this
Yeah.
just you assuming that Arch Manning's going to have a very significant role, or you think Quinn's going to get it done?
Quinn will not get it done. It has to be Arch.
Make sure
it has
That's
to
what-
be.
that's
It
what-
has to be Arch.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Arch will start to play a bigger role because there's so many people out here saying,
Yeah, but
hey,
like,
he needs to.
If his big role is Wildcats, like it's not.
It just adds an element. Like, I mean, like when you see, like when Kyle Trask and Emory Jones were doing it, when Emory Jones came in, you knew he was running the ball because no one respected his arm. You have to respect Arch
Dude,
Manning's arm.
I do not like 2 quarterback systems. I think if Quinn starts messing up, you pull him and he's done. These 2 quarterback systems don't work against these really good teams.
Auburn's
yeah,
gonna
but
have one next year.
We've also seen it with,
And we've seen how
kinda-
that works.
We've seen it kind of with Penn State, and they ran it pretty well.
Yeah,
Bo
not
Prabula-
anymore.
Not
I mean,
anymore.
It's because of the transfer portal.
It's gonna
I
be
saw
Tyler Warren running that now.
Yeah,
I
so
think, I think Drew Aller is perfectly fine. I think he's impressed some people this year, and he's impressed me this year because people thought he was just kind of a game manager. I think
last
he's
year
actually
he
a
was
game
100% a game manager.
And he
This
hasn't
year,
been this year.
I agree with
No,
you
I
this
think
year.
he's
Yeah.
developed. I think he's developed.
I
for
was
sure.
not high on him at all coming into the year
I've
I
been
think-
high on him for a while.
for a couple
now.
years. Yeah,
The arm strength is there. That
Oh, yeah.
plays. Like
The
that's
arm
next
strength
level
and
arm
the
strength.
decision making is there.
Yeah.
For me.
No, I
Um,
agree. He's opened my eyes a little bit. I think he's a pro. I think he's a pro
Yeah.
quarterback.
I think with my bracket, I think most of you guys can agree basically everything up until Texas beating Oregon. Everything else, I think you guys can see is perfectly believable. You guys just aren't as high on Texas as I am.
Not nearly.
No. I mean, I wouldn't really even argue with you. Tennessee, Ohio State. We're kind of just flipping a coin, thinking who we think will
I
have
think
the
that's
edge.
a good football game.
Like
I think
that's
it's a good football
yeah.
game.
Yeah, I mean, like I think Tennessee can easily win that football game. I'm just going with both defenses are super comparable for me. Like they're both. It's going to be a low scoring game.
Yeah.
Now, am I taking Tennessee spread? 1,000%. It's not that I think Ohio State is going to beat
Dude,
them by
I'm
7.5.
I might double up, take their spread to cover, and take their money line at like plus 250.
I don't mind their money line. The value is there. Do I think they win? No, but the value is 100% there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have Brendan's bracket you could fill in?
No, he didn't send me his.
We just got his plays for the
but
4 games coming
gotcha.
up.
I feel like I can kind of go with what I think he would say. I think he
Yep.
goes Texas beating Arizona State.
Tennessee.
I think he goes Tennessee beating
Goes
Oregon
Tennessee.
or beating Ohio State. I think he goes Penn State, and I think he goes Notre Dame.
Yep.
He goes Georgia for sure. He goes
Yeah.
Penn State because he has hated every single group of four school in the
Yeah.
country. He goes Oregon
Yep.
because he thinks Oregon is good, and then I think for some reason I feel like he will be the one to go Arizona State, but I think he goes Texas,
Dude, yeah.
and then he 100% goes Georgia. He goes Oregon,
and then Georgia.
and then he
And then
goes Georgia.
That is a Brandon bracket right there.
That is the Brandon bracket.
Without the
He-
bold pick. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
And I think his one bold pick would be either Indiana beats
I think
Notre
that would
Dame,
be it. I think it'd be
or
Indiana.
Clemson beats Texas, something like that.
I think it'd
That's
be
his
Indiana.
bold pick.
All
But
right.
yeah,
I
I think
think.
it'd be Indiana, something like that. So
Yeah,
this is
I
Brandon's
think
bracket
so.
for everyone. But it's roughly what we think what would happen.
Yeah.
He will be
No,
the one
there's
to have
probably
Georgia
another.
winning.
Yeah, there's going to be another bold pick in there somewhere that's just insane. But
It'd be probably freaking
That it would be
Tennessee over Oregon.
Tennessee. It'd be
yeah, I mean,
Tennessee because he'd won
would
an
that be
SEC game.
insane though? You know what I'm saying?
No,
Would
I don't
that
think it's
be over the
crazy.
top insane?
It's crazy, but it's not insane to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah, it's a little off, which we all know Brandon's a little off.
Yeah.
But it's not insane to me because Tennessee has had the probably a top 5 defense all year. And you kind of got to back a top 5 defense here and there.
No, for sure.
All right. Want to go MVP?
Yeah, we can do it. Y'all go first.
We're the same Cam.
Yep. So
Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. If Oregon is going to win this thing, the quarterback needs to be the best player. Like they're going to win the game because of Dylan Gabriel, and that's going to be the thing that potentially raises future draft stock, gets him on the on the market for that. Like I think that's just what it has to. It's the thing that makes the most sense. Skill guys, like he's the one that would do it. They generally don't give MVPs to like defensive players unless they would have like 12 interceptions in 3 games, which isn't even possible. So it'd be Dylan Gabriel for me.
I think I could guess Will's now. I think
The answer is Dylan
Arch
Gabriel.
Manning.
that's what I was thought he was
That's
going
what I
to
was
go.
gonna-
The answer is Dylan Gabriel. Sleeper pick for me, Tez Johnson. I think he could be big.
Yeah, he's a difference maker.
My official pick, Quinn Ewers.
So, real quick with you, Will. If Texas wins at all, I think it's going to be something like Bama in the past. I think Arch Manning has a better chance to win MVP. I think it could be a Jalen Tua type situation.
I mean, I can see it. But I don't know if it'd be the full tournament. That's the one thing. Like,
Dude, I don't. I mean, the thing is, if Arch goes out there, say second half of the national championship, and takes Texas to victory, he's getting MVP, even if it was for that half.
is he getting tournament MVP? Is my question though. If Quinn Ewers plays well against Oregon and gets them there, but Arch Manning plays well
It
in the
just
second
sucks
half,
the first half
and
of this biggest game of the year.
yeah, and then plays well against and Arch Manning plays well in the second half. I mean, you can't really give it to Arch, but I also don't think you can give it to Quinn. Maybe it's like, I don't know, Golden from Texas or something
Yeah.
like that, or don't they have like a really good corner or something like that? Maybe he
Sarkisian
shuts
MVP.
down. Maybe he shuts down Georgia's best receiver, Penn State's best receiver, something like that. But yeah, I think like we're not acting like Quinn Ewers brought Texas back from the dead. They were dead, and Quinn Ewers has been that guy. He brought them he brought them within a play of the Natty last year.
If they got Arch Manning, they're 11-1. Or would it be 12-1?
12
12-1. I think they split with Georgia if they have Arch.
I mean, I can see it. I think they split with Georgia if they use Arch more. If they start Arch, maybe not. But I think literally Arch just adds an extra element to the thing, and we're not calming down on the Arch train. It's just not what we're doing. Arch is going to be the starting quarterback for Texas for the next 2 years and probably go number 1 overall in the draft. He's a Manning.
That part's probably accurate.
He's a Manning, and probably the most athletic Manning. He can move. He's got a cannon. I know he only played 3-4 games and looked good in those 4 games. It might not have been the best competition.
The only
we've seen it.
The only thing that worries me with the Arch is obviously he's not a freshman, but he's not had that freshman moment yet. He's shined in every time he's been on the field.
Someone said, waste of a conversation, gentlemen. Tennessee's winning it all. If I had to pick a great value play, I'm picking Tennessee. Tennessee is the only team that is not playing at home in the first round that I think can win the national championship.
They got a better chance than Texas. No, I'm
No.
just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
You can tell
Dude,
me that you think Tennessee is better than Texas
listen,
all the time, but
if
Tennessee has a tough road. That's
if they
my
had
opinion.
any other matchup the second round, I could see them going further. But that matchup is the worst they could have possibly asked for.
The
I mean,
first
yeah,
round
like
matchup is the worst.
yeah,
Like
the first round matchup is horrible. The second round matchup is horrible. If they are say if they're even the freaking the 10 seed and they get Notre
Yeah.
Dame,
I mean,
they get Notre Dame and Georgia. Georgia's a tough matchup for them. They were competitive in the first half, and Beck played out of his mind in that game.
yeah.
And now we're not seeing Beck.
I mean, dude, Tennessee's offense is good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not going to win any sort of running match. How many times did they even score 30 this year?
Probably none against good
I
competition.
think a couple.
The only times they probably did it was against either like Group of Four or like Vandy.
I mean, great team. Don't get me wrong. Tennessee's a great team, but they don't have the offense to keep up with a high scoring team.
Defense is top 5 in the country,
Yes.
and running back is top 3 in the country. So that's the thing
So,
that'll keep them in the game.
If they play Oregon, they better pray that defense is lots out.
Oh yeah, like for Tennessee to have a shot to not only win the first game, but win the whole thing, their defense legitimately has to play like the 2021 Georgia defense.
Yeah.
Their defense has to score points.
Yeah.
all right. Quick update. UNLV is up 14-10. 11:42 left in the second quarter. Oh, the over's
Over's
trending.
looking great.
Oh, yeah.
Over looks great. Never a doubt, boys.
That was
Never
a long
doubt.
first quarter. Didn't they
Yeah.
just start when
Yeah.
we started? It's been an
And,
hour, and they're just now in the second.
11:08 in the second quarter. California is
Christ.
driving the field now. They're on the UNLV 23, so it looks like we might have some points coming. The over is just looking remarkable. I knew it the whole time. I believed. I never doubted.
Someone asked, he's good, but he couldn't go win a natty this year. I assume you're talking about Arch. I wouldn't think you're talking about Nico from Tennessee. That's why I think Arch is good. He's not going to be the one to go win the natty. He's just going to add an element to the offense.
gonna
Quinn
add an
Ewers
element.
will play most of the snaps, but if he's on the field 15-20% of snaps, I think that helps. He's like the Taysom Hill.
Hold on now.
Why?
Put some respect on his name.
He's
Taysom
not gonna.
Hill.
He's not gonna catch the football.
Can Arch
He's
play
the-
tight end?
Arch isn't gonna catch
There's
the
only
football.
one. There can only be one.
Arch isn't
There's
gonna
only
catch the
one
football,
Taysom
but he
Hill.
also can. I think he can throw it better than Taysom Hill could.
Maybe.
And he can.
They
He
just
can
don't
run it.
use him like that. He can sling it.
I mean, yeah. We saw him sling it again. What was it, like 3 weeks ago? The game he got hurt, and he threw an absolute dot to the defense.
Yeah, but it had some pace to it.
I mean, yeah, it was a bomb. It was a bomb.
Okay, let's preview these 4 games. We will start with Indiana at Notre Dame. We will have picks for all 4.
Yep.
Will, you have Brandon's, correct?
Oh yeah, let me pull him up.
Okay. So Indiana at Notre Dame. Notre Dame, last I looked, they were favored by 7. If that line is moved, let me know. Over and under, I saw it 51.5.
I got it 52.
Yes.
That's what I saw.
I got it. I saw the line at 7.5, but I think 7's fine as well.
Okay. I saw 51.5. So, okay, I bought down half. So just letting you guys know. Hopefully it's still good. It was minus 120.
Yep.
So I feel like anything under like minus 130 is fair. Okay, who wants to go first? Indiana, Notre Dame.
I can go first on this one.
Will can go
because
first.
they have been my darling all year. Indiana's going to cover. I got it at 7.5, so I'm going to do that because I think they can keep it with it. They can keep it with a touchdown, and I think that the first half of this game, I can see it being 10-7, 7-3, something like that. And the second half is when the offensives kind of turn it on. And I think it ends up being like 21-17, 24-20, something like that. I don't think either one of their offense is going to be able to pull away. Indiana's run defense is better than what people give them credit for. And I don't think Indiana's offense is going to be super explosive. So that's why an under, I think, is fine as well. But I think Indiana's going to be able to keep it close enough to keep it within a touchdown. I think a touchdown's pretty high. Brandon has the exact opposite. He has Notre Dame -7. He has them winning by a touchdown. Push potential there, of course,
Yeah.
if they win by 7. But that's what Brandon has.
All right.
Nate?
I do not think either offense has looked great against good comp this year. Obviously, they show out against the teams they should beat. So I'm going to take the under in this. I think both defenses are going to play pretty well. I don't think the offense gets much going, especially how the weather's going to be. So I actually got it at 52. I'm going to take the under.
Right here, bend over. Riley Leonard doesn't know how to throw a football. He's gotten better at it as the years gone on. I think he's kind of learning the system still. But I think it's going to be Notre Dame running the football, and it just depends on how Indiana defends it.
Dude, I'm an Indiana hater. Will knows it. But I do think we've seen Notre Dame have really bad moments on offense this year. Indiana had one against Ohio State, which was good comp. So at the end of the day, I just don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I mean, Indiana could possibly even win this game, but
Okay. This is awesome because all 4 of us are on completely different pages.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. So I'm taking over 51.
So I'm going to push.
So reason being, I kind of think like about the USC Notre Dame game a little bit. So like Notre Dame can be beat in the air. They absolutely can. Indiana's got a quarterback that can sling it a little bit. Okay, so I think there's the ability for Indiana to put up points from that standpoint. The other thing that is like a glaring issue to me, there was the other thing that USC did, and Notre Dame has a history of doing this. USC turned the ball over. Notre Dame hunts takeaways. Anytime they played a team, they thrive off taking the ball away and putting the ball in opposing territory and having good field position to start drives. They have been doing it the entire year. Indiana, when they played a good team, the only time they played a really good team, turned the ball over 3 times. So I feel like that, plus what Notre Dame wants to try and do anyways, is going to allow Notre Dame to score. They'll probably build up a little bit of a cushion. The zone gets softer. Indiana can throw the ball, and I think Indiana can throw enough to get it within some sort of striking distance, but I'm talking like a 38 to 28 kind of game.
That's what I was about to
over
ask.
51 would hit.
I was about to ask if you think Notre Dame's going to score 35 to 40.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame's going to score like 35 to 38 points, but it's because they love taking the ball away. And when they score a ton of points, it's not because they drive the ball like down the field. It's because they always have good field position because they take advantage of mistakes. They've been doing it against good teams the whole year.
This is a weird game because, like I said, neither offenses look great against great competition. But then again, neither defense is like elite. I mean, Notre Dame's got a good defense. Don't get me wrong, but it's like
they have a way to be beat.
It's such a weird matchup. It's gonna be a fun game.
I'm actually excited to watch this one. I think it'll be because I didn't think the Ohio State Indiana game was going to be high scoring, and then Indiana has this propensity for turning the ball over all of a sudden, facing these good teams, and then the over is in play because Ohio State gets generous field position. Notre Dame lives for that.
So you think Notre Dame? You're thinking they're going to cover then?
I think Notre Dame covers. Yes, I think they win by 10. I think they win by 10. Next game, we want to go Clemson at Texas.
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll have some good points on this one.
Some of y'all are gonna think I'm crazy making this pick, but I do see Texas maybe kind of giving up a few backdoor points at the end. I mean, I think Texas is gonna I want them to blow Clemson out. I just really don't think it's gonna happen because Texas isn't that type of team. So I'm gonna take Texas -7 first half. Play the push.
I thought you were gonna. All right,
I don't
write it down.
I don't want to take them -12. That's where I saw it, just because of a possibility of a backdoor touchdown.
-12 is disrespectful.
No, it's not. We'll go. I have two things written down. I'm going to go Texas minus 12. I have
Okay.
13 written down for plus money. I think it's good value.
Which one do you
But
want me to put in?
12.
Okay. All right. I got you.
Texas minus 12. I think this game is 28-10, 31-10. I don't
Just a
think
beating.
Clemson scores at all. And I think Texas will not score a ton, but they score enough. Like 28 points isn't a ton of points that Clemson gives up, but I don't think Clemson will be able to score. Like we saw it with Georgia. Like the first half they scored 3 points. And I would take I honestly might take Georgia's offense with Gunnar Stockton over Clemson's offense.
That's
It's
fair.
close, but I think Texas will be able to absolutely stifle them and score just enough to where they can cover 12.
Yeah. I mean, I trust him to jump up big because Sark's one of the best, first half schemers there is on offense, but I don't trust him to grow the lead that much in the second half. That's why I'm
Clemson
going the
has a
first
way to
half.
be beat,
Yeah.
and I think the one thing for me too as well that helps me with it is Clemson has to get explosive plays. They cannot sustain drives.
If you doubt
Texas
Dabo too
does not
much,
allow
he's going to blow this
big
bracket.
plays. Yeah,
Don't doubt
Texas
Dabo
does.
that much.
I didn't.
That man's got some weird ways.
I haven't doubted Dabo. I took Clemson to win the ACC championship, but I'm doubting him against a top 5 team in the country. That's what I'm doing.
No, I
because
am
he
too, but
shouldn't even
not
be in the
28-10.
What
Oh,
did
and
Brandon
then
have?
Brandon had interesting. I mean, he went kind of probably the opposite of what we thought. He has the under 51.5. I don't hate it because I think both
I
teams
like that.
throw off. I like
that
it.
play.
Kind of like Cam said, I think Texas could score 35-38 themselves.
And bend over. I assume it bleeped it out, but I assume you said Dabo a bitch. So I'm gonna go with that.
I
So
like him better than James Franklin and Ryan Day. Write that down.
not a lot of people like him better than Ryan Day.
Obviously, you guys know what my pick is. So we're going to take the Clemson plus 12.
Oh,
Come
Clemson
on, take the
covers.
money line.
are you going to double up with the money line?
I'm putting it in for sure.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
putting it. Dude, Clemson, like, if I'm going to get a team like that in the playoff with Dabo Sweeney, who all he does is win big games. Like, that's like you talk about these other coaches who lose big games. That is not Dabo. Dabo knows how to win these. Like, he's one of those guys that Dabo a bum. Like, Dabo's one of these guys that has a good history of winning games like this. So he might, at the end of the day, he might not
Yeah,
win.
against Miami and Florida State.
But and that's fine. But like to tell me that he's been prepping for this game and he's not going to compete in a game like this where the season is on the line, the boys are going to wake up and they're going to play the football game. They're getting off the bus for
He'll
sure.
compete in the first half. I mean, we go back to the we all thought he was going to compete against Georgia. We see what happened.
Team's different. Team is different. The offensive line is healthy. The offensive line was banged up at the beginning of the year before the games even started. The offensive line is healthy. Cade can still do his thing. Texas has not faced a quarterback like Cade that can do both.
I personally just don't think it's going to be fair for Clemson's offensive line. I think Texas D-line is just going to put so much pressure.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Hey, as long as the -7 first half hits, I really don't care.
But I feel like that low-key is more dangerous than the -12. Because
if Clemson keeps it close, it's the first half.
I think Clemson can keep it best. Like I think for sure Clemson can keep it close in the first half.
See, I'm thinking.
You said the Georgia game. Like I can kind of see that, but for 4 quarters instead of 2.
I'm a little bit backwards from what you are saying. I think it's going to be Texas jump up.
Well, he can game
possibly
plan.
2 touchdowns. That's what I'm saying.
He can script.
And I think Clemson might hit a couple touchdowns late in the game. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Clemson relies on explosives almost exclusively. So if Texas limits the explosives, then they'll never be in the game.
I think the spread will be around 7 in the first half. Like it'll be like a 13-6.
Yeah, I think one score.
10-3, 10-6, something like that. No, not a shot. Yeah.
All
right.
What's up to you, buddy?
Let's go ahead.
We're talking about college football. Have any questions?
Let's go to Tennessee and Ohio State. No, did I want to do that one last? I want to do that one last. Let's
Yeah.
do SMU and Penn State, and we'll do Tennessee and Ohio State last.
Ooh.
SMU and Penn State. Whoever wants to go. Will,
This
go ahead.
one is the toughest one for me to pick. I legitimately think 8.5 is the perfect spread. Like, is it going to be 2 scores or not? I like SMU. I like Penn State. I'm going to take Penn State minus 8.5. I'm going to trust the home team. I'm going to trust that the weather affects SMU a little bit more than it does Penn State, because I think that I'm going to trust Penn State defense. They will have the best player on the field. Abdul Carter will probably get 1 to 2 sacks and a ton of quarterback pressures. And I think Penn State will be able to stifle SMU's run game and basically kind of make SMU one dimensional.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Penn State minus 8.5.
Yeah.
What did Brandon have?
Brandon has the exact opposite. He has SMU plus 8.5.
All right.
So
Nate?
I'm actually on the same page as Will here. I'm taking Penn State minus 8.5. Also, the reason if SMU is anything but perfect, this game is not close. I mean, they have to play their best game, I think, to even keep it close. Like if they show up like they did against Clemson, it's going to get ugly fast.
I'm going to stay away from a spread, and I'm going to go point total. Rhett Lashley said the weather is not going to have an impact on his SMU boys. I think he's wrong, but
It will.
confidence is
Yeah.
key.
They're practicing in 75 right now.
And so, like, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Like, they are battle tested to an extent in terms of playing in that weather, like having to go to pit and stuff. And like, okay, so like they've done some of this, but like not to this magnitude is different. Like this is a different kind of atmosphere. So I think Penn State is probably going to do mostly what they want on offense. I do think SMU can stop the run to an extent. I think they can limit the run. But then it goes to what I was talking about earlier with Allard and what I think he's kind of developing into. And Penn State can win in more than one way. So I think Penn State is going to be able to throw the ball. SMU is susceptible at DB. They've got one guy that's like an all ACC, and then the others are kind of like fringe guys. They've had some injury issues there throughout the season. Safety play hasn't been good. So like they can give up some big plays, and Allard's got an arm. So I think Penn State scores. I also think Penn State will limit Rashard Smith, in the run game for SMU. That being said, this game, like the over, relies solely on Kevin Jennings. If Kev, because Penn State, a lot of teams haven't faced like Kevin Jennings is a different type of quarterback. This is a guy that he can work in the pocket, he can work out of the pocket, he can scramble, he's elusive. Like he has a dynamic aspect to his game that is hard to account for. That being said, Penn State can be beaten in the air, and Jennings prefers to be a pocket guy, and he can work the pocket. And if he has enough protection, that's the question. So if he has the protection or can roll out one way and see the field in that one way, he can make plays downfield, and SMU can score enough to make it competitive. So I'm going to go over, I believe it was 53 is what I saw.
I think so, yeah.
So I'm going to go over 53, and it's all on Kevin Jennings. I think Penn State scoring is the sure thing. To be honest, like I think they can score, and the over and under is going to be whether SMU can keep up.
Yeah. And coming in from the chat as well, Penn State home field advantage will be a big difference maker. I think
Massive.
so as well.
Oh, yes.
Massive,
Wide out,
massive. Absolutely.
Penn State, that place is going to be rocking.
Absolutely.
Legitimately, like everything outside of what's on the field plays into Penn State's hands. Weather, home field advantage, coach maybe not. I don't know. It's pretty close for me. But I
I
think
like Red.
Well,
I
hey,
think Red. I like
They
Red.
they better enjoy this one because they're not making it any further. So
yeah. Let's see. Whoever wins this game is
it's a
making the
tough matchup.
semifinal.
Agreed. That's a tough matchup for them. All right, last one. We're gonna go Tennessee at Ohio State. Whoever wants to go first on that one.
I'll keep it simple. This could be a baseball game, 3-2 final. Nah, I think the number's perfect for the over under. I'm gonna take the under. Tennessee, I mean, they've proven they don't have to score a lot of points to win football games. Ohio State, they've struggled on offense past few weeks. So
Would you
just going to
take
take
one
the
more
under
time,
here.
Nate?
Under
Under what was it?
46.
46. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Will?
I am going to take the same thing, under 46 and a half. I like the spread as well for Tennessee because I think this game is close,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go under as well because like we've seen freaking like kind of like backdoor, like this game is closer than 8, but they still win. But I do think this game is going under. Both defenses are so good, and both offensive has been playing like crap recently. So I'm going to go under 46 and a half. And then once again, Brandon is going the exact opposite. He's going over 45 and a half. Maybe he sees something that we don't. I mean, both offenses
I would
have
love to
looked
get his
bad.
insight on that.
They have to be better, maybe. And both offenses have weapons. And I can see the total is low for a college football game. Understand that to a degree. But both defenses are top 5.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
The matchup screams under.
Yeah.
The matchup screams under.
But I
Um,
can say it's a low total for a college football game.
and so
Yeah.
I steered away from it. I went away from the over under. I would lean under for sure. I'm just not quite comfortable with, like, let's say one of these teams just happens to pull away and it's not a lot of points for a garbage time touchdown to push it over. So I'm going to stay away from that, and I'm going to go with Tennessee plus 7.5.
I like that.
Even if they don't win the game, I honestly, like, I think 7.5 is like low key disrespectful. Like, I actually think that's like a
Yeah, I think it's way
I'm
too
looking
high.
at this game.
I think it should be near about pick 'em.
I think 3. I think 3 is fair.
I think
like
3.5.
-3. I
Three
think
and a
that's
half is
fair.
this what should be the spread for
Yeah.
me? Because I mean, like, I can see why, like, books love to do that 3.5 spread, not 2.5 for a
Yeah,
field goal or
give you the
whatever. They
demon
love to
line.
do that
Yep,
3.5.
the demon
So
line.
Tennessee is plus 240 for money line. I mean, that should not be.
I don't like. I get, certain aspects. Like, I understand. Like, you get where Ohio State was ranked. You get where the game's going to be. Like, I get certain aspects of it, but like, these are two very evenly matched teams, and this is a big game. Both of these teams are going to show up equally to this big game, and if both of these teams are evenly matched and they both care an equal amount, what you have is a good football game. And a good football game is generally less than an 8-point difference in
Yeah.
between it. So I'm going to take the cover. I think it's a safe play just because out of these games, I see this one most likely being the one that stays close in its entirety.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the cover on that one. All right, I wrote everything down. Do you guys see how long we are into the recording?
Yeah, we're about an hour and 20 in.
Hour and 20. So we can cover. We want to do some transfer portal
Let's
for
do
like
it.
10 minutes or
Which,
so, and then get out of here.
Yeah, real quick, another update on Caleb Odom, 4-star Alabama, just freshman that just transferred out. Ole Miss have everybody wound up with him. That just got reported. So
Ole Miss is cooking in the portal right now.
Odom's going to be a dude.
Yeah, I had the thing up. Hold on, let me put it on my other screen.
Yeah,
so
Ole
I can
Miss
just
is
kind of keep going.
they're cooking in the portal right now. I don't know where they're getting their money
I
from.
mean, well, I can tell you where they're getting the money. They're number 17 in recruiting for high school kids. So, I mean, they didn't spend money for incoming freshmen.
I mean, it's kind of a risk reward. Like they built a good team with the transfer portal this year, and arguably a top 12 team should have made the playoff. But we've also seen it go bad, like how with Florida State this year. So it's kind of that risk reward. You could have an elite team, but you could also go. They're not going to go 2-10, but you could also suck it up because they don't mesh or something like that. But yeah, Ole Miss has been cooking in the portal. A&M's been cooking. Bama's looking pretty decent. Oklahoma got a good quarterback. SEC's kind of been cooking in the portal right now. Like LSU, I believe, got a receiver. I think.
Yep.
Florida and Oklahoma are right now probably the two favorites for Zachariah Branch. Basically, he's kind of deciding between if he wants to play with John Mateer or DJ Lagway. Probably going to go to Oklahoma. And then Yeah, we seen Kentucky might get Malik Murphy after Malik Murphy missed out on Auburn. Jackson Arnett Auburn.
Just going to another Duke.
Yeah, we saw Brock Vandegrift retire from football. Yeah, I mean we had
Did
a lot happen in the SEC.
I saw this? Tell me if it's true or not. Think I saw Mendoza is actually taking a visit or considering Georgia
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. They're on the list. They're on the short
on
list.
the list. Justice Haynes is predicted to go to South Carolina. Just saw that Alabama transfer running back.
Yep. I saw that one earlier.
I think the biggest thing I mentioned earlier I want to get into is, I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole with the time of year the portal is and all that, or we can go the direction where I think Hugh Freeze and Brian Kelly is trying to save their career with this transfer class.
Let's
Yeah, I mean
let's talk a little bit about the timing of
Okay.
this nonsense. And
it's
then
horrible.
like
Like we're talking about like how it's
I mean-
directly in the middle of the bowl season and
Of
playoff.
So
everything,
use Penn State's dude as an example. Like if he doesn't transfer now, he cannot practice in the spring with a new team.
Bama is begging their fans. Yeah,
I
the
did
but
AD,
see that.
The AD
I did
is,
see that.
yeah, the AD's
We've
all
seen-
over that.
I'm
We've
just saying
seen it
everyone
with-
is.
We've seen it with going back to what it was. Penn State, Bo Pribula, James Franklin came out and said, "Hey, this kid did not want to leave the program, but his hand was forced.
Yeah, he didn't feel like he had a
Like
choice.
he has to, because technically the rule is once your season ends, you still get 5 days. But if Penn State goes on a run, makes the semifinal, everyone's gonna have a quarterback by then.
Well,
Yeah.
that and the semesters at these other schools would have already started.
Yeah, I mean, like technically, like I bet there's some rule along with that, like something like that. But
Yeah.
like you gotta like it's just such bad timing. Like I don't understand it.
So
I mean, I understand like there's students first, and then there's athletes,
I mean,
but
look at it
It's-
from
yeah,
a
they're getting
coach.
paid millions of
look-
dollars. There's
look
students
at
that
it.
are millionaires.
Look at it from a coaching perspective too. You just had National Signing Day a couple weeks ago. Now you got like what was it a 2-week or 30-day transfer portal?
it's like almost 3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks, and
3
then
weeks.
all this is over. Then you have another transfer portal in the spring, and you also have the opportunity.
They want to
for-
do away with that one.
Oh,
They want to
wrong
do
one.
away with the spring one.
Yeah, but then you also have guys that can leave after, their game last game. I looked at Alabama, and their requirements for donation is out of my reach. So I am not.
Was there's like a minimum?
No, yeah.
I
I
got
mean-
you with about $5.
No, I mean,
yeah, I'm saying like
they got different packages. I think the lowest one was like $100 a month, and I'll be honest, like I
a
just,
month.
yeah, I just,
Damn.
and this don't even get you on the list for season tickets, so yeah, it's crazy.
So
No,
like,
Give me a sweet.
what's like the alternative? So like, obviously the timing of this is just about the worst possible timing I could think of. But like, what's a realistic alternative for when we open the transfer portal window and when we close it?
I don't think there's an alternative. I think you just got to basically find a way to get kids through the year and allow them to be enrolled with another school in the spring.
I think
That-
you
that's the-
shorten the term, the length of it. It happens directly after like semifinals are played, because aren't semifinal, or is it semifinals, or no? I might be
Semifinals
get
right
to
after New Year's
yeah.
or New Year's.
Whatever, like the portal should open on like the first or second and go until like when the semester starts or something like that for that school, because most start around like the 12th, 13th, something like that. I think that's when it should happen.
Yeah.
Or even like to when, like, because most schools have, for the first week of like your school, you're able to add classes, drop classes, stuff like that. So you're not technically in your set classes until the second week of the semester. It should go until the beginning of the second week of the semester.
Another thing they can do too is drop early sign-in period and move the transfer portal up, and just have the sign-in period in the spring. But then again, that still hurts kids from wanting to come in the spring. These freshmen, there's that. If it was an 8-team, 10-team playoff, they could have kept all the national championship before January 1st. Give these kids time to get to their new school. But with 12 teams and possibly expanding, you can push everything back a week. But there's no real answer unless you just come up with a way for these kids to still be eligible for classes in the spring.
I think the alternative is shortening the regular season or starting it earlier.
Maybe you started
Uh,
earlier. I heard they
Gets
want to add games.
gets the
That's yeah.
Yeah, they want to add
gets it
games.
ended earlier. Probably maybe have the championship like the first week of January, something like that, and then portal after that.
Would it be possible to push up National Signing Day and the portal?
No transfers. Also agree with that. The portal
Just
itself
not an option.
is I agree with one free transfer.
Or
When you have people like TJ Finley,
dude,
playing at his 6th school in 5 years,
Yeah, it's
that's
chaotic.
freaking
I mean,
ridiculous.
chaotic.
is it possible? I mean, like, why can't we go back to what it used to be? You transfer, you sit out.
I don't agree with that one.
No, but
I agree with you get one free one, but if you transfer for a second time, then you sit out a year.
well,
And every single time you transfer after that, you sit out a year.
that's not going to happen until NIL becomes what it was supposed to be. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's
that-
never going to happen. It's
that
never
I
gonna
mean,
happen.
there's a possibility. I believe that we're going to work to. I know there's probably contracts now, but I guarantee you we're going to work towards contracts where there's minimum amount of years you got to be at this school. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. Like, hey,
I would love that.
like, hey, Jackson Arnold, we're going to pay you 2.5 to come to Auburn, but you got to guarantee us 2 years of football.
Yeah, they want to be pros. Make it pro style.
Yeah,
You know?
And
I don't
like,
mind
and it's
that
like,
as well.
hey,
For
like,
a
if you want to go,
specific
if you want to go to the draft, that's too bad. We'll take some of the money we gave you away. Like,
I mean, yeah, you kind of have to sign a letter of intent, and then you're locked in there. So maybe like the letter of intent, like
the letter
like
intent's not
It
a
needs
thing
to be
anymore.
a little bit more binding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
like,
letter of intent.
Letter of intent just means, hey, I'm coming to school there, but you can get out of that at any minute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
kind of, but
flip it
like
almost any
make
time.
it a little bit more binding to where like, hey, like I'll be there for 2 years, 3 years,
Which,
and like
Yeah.
even it kind of helps like the smaller recruits even too, like say like, hey, I will be there all 4 years, but they just pay them a little more money,
dude,
something like that.
I miss when kids went to schools because, like, for instance, for Nick Saban's, for Kirby Smarts, coaches like that do not matter anymore. They do not care who they play for. Like, to be honest, would you rather play for Kirby Smart or Lane Kiffin? Take your pick. Ole Miss is going to give them more money, so Ole Miss is going to get most of transfers. You know, I'm not going to say it's not fair because I don't want to sound like I'm crying over it, but it's definitely out of hand.
I mean, I understand
yeah.
it. Like you got to get your bag. Like not a lot of people
Dude,
go to the NFL and play and make millions of dollars
I said
that
from
get
the
NIL.
I said from the beginning, the way it should be set up is I'll reference, sorry, I know it's an Alabama thing here, but I'll reference Link with Jalen Milroe and all them. That's the type of thing I thought it was going to be. They're going to make money off their name, off any product they create or whatever. I think at the end of the day, it should be stipend guaranteed to scholarship players a month. Hey, you get $1,000 a month, you get $500 a month, whatever it needs to be. You give them a stipend instead of $1.82 million.
I mean, your pay used to be, hey, you don't have to pay for school.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I think give
like,
them stipends, dude. That's the easiest way to say it. Every scholarship player gets this set amount of stipend per month. Simple as that.
yeah, I agree with that, and it's like a lesser number than what they're getting, like $2 million.
Significantly less.
Not 4 million.
Is Jackson Arnold worth 2.3 to 2.5? Because that's what they
No.
reported he got. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's.
I mean, you're like, put it in perspective here. Jackson Arnold getting about $2.3 million. He makes more money than Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I mean, look
That's
at
ridiculous.
Look what Michigan did with Bryce Underwood, man. It's like, it's not even.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
pretty
know.
bad.
No integrity in football in these
Yeah, there's
freshmen.
definitely not enough rules around it.
It's got to be regulated to a greater extent than what
I
it's
think-
regulated at
I
now.
think-
It's like the Wild
Or
West.
I got a
like,
great idea.
it's-
NCAA needs a commissioner. Simple as that. Just
Put
like
Josh
NFL.
Pate as it. Put Josh Pate in there. He'll run it. He'll
I'm
run
down.
it
Commissioner
perfectly.
Pate.
We'll be back down to the BCS national championship.
Yeah, he likes the old.
Put
the old
Saban in
ways.
charge. I
Dude,
agree.
Well,
people.
Saban would be kind of like a similar.
Listen,
He'd be similar.
Can I just say, Saban said, I would say 4 years ago when there was talks, he said it's going to become a mess is the best way to put it.
That is what it is.
And it's an absolute disaster. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if NIL did not get this out of hand, he's still the head coach at Alabama.
Imagine, imagine being a coach during this, and
It
you've got to prep for a bowl game, you got to prep for a playoff game, and you have to deal with not just outgoing potential incoming
yeah.
portals, like you got to recruit because you're going to lose 10 guys to
Yeah.
the portal. You got
Like
to still get ready for spring practice for
like
next year, and
t-
then you play Tennessee in a couple weeks in the
yeah.
playoff. Like
I mean, two
it's,
of the
it's
greatest coaches like Kirby and Nick couldn't even keep players. Like,
It
I mean,
I
it makes
wouldn't even want to be a
coordinators.
coach. I would not want to be a coach.
do you
It
In
think
this
makes
dynamic, I wouldn't want to do it.
is Saban still a head coach if NIL was not like this? I say yes. He's still the head
I
coach
think
at
he
Alabama.
probably would. I think he
probably.
probably would.
I mean, there's been rumors that it wasn't because of NIL, it was because his wife and all that want to spend more time with her.
No,
All
I
that kind of
believe
stuff.
that too.
I believe that too. But I think what it does is it makes coordinators that much more important because I remember seeing something about Shane Beamer. Like, usually the last thing of his day that he's able to get to is football. He's having to go do pressers, talk to players, talk to potential like recruits, something like that. And he's having to trust his coordinators to coach. So the head coach isn't even coaching half the time.
So,
They're
Yeah.
out there talking to families,
Yeah.
doing all this
so,
stuff. They're not getting to actually do football.
Nope.
so
They said that's
another
the last thing he does.
another good example here is I know a few teams like Belichick actually got one hired on. I like the way he's doing his staff.
He
Like
wasn't going to do it unless he had his
no,
way.
No.
Like Kalen DeBoer has a general manager for the football team.
I think that
Like
should be
Bill
automatic at this
Belichick
point.
is
That should be
hiring
automatic.
a general manager. Who is it? Who did Belichick hire for his GM?
Can't remember the
I have,
name.
I have no clue.
It was
But
somebody who's with a while back, but like they
Andrew
take
Luck
care
at
of.
Stanford.
Yes, they take care of
Oh
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
off the
yeah.
field recruiting. Courtney Morgan recruits more than DeBoer.
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
and
it's what you're going to need now
That's
to
what you
kind
have.
of do it.
You don't have a choice. You don't
Yeah.
have a choice. Like
I
if
don't
you
know,
want to focus on football at least a little bit.
man. You got Lane Kiffin calling everybody himself, throwing that money.
I mean, we see it though. Like Lane Kiffin has never made a playoff.
Dude,
And he
I'll
gets the recruits,
still,
but he's never made a playoff.
even
Yeah,
with that
great
loaded
recruiter,
team, I will sit here and say I
not a
do
great
not
coach.
think the transfer portal is going to take a team to like high level of success, and I'm still going to stand by that.
Ask Florida State.
I think
Hey, he's a pro
to the point
quarterback.
about Lane Kiffin, I think he's a great coach. It's just legitimately he has to recruit. He has to do all this stuff to get people like his Ole Miss is a big name, yeah. But if they're gonna go play football, they want to go to Alabama,
You know,
Georgia, something like that. They're not gonna go to Ole Miss. That's not their first
um,
choice.
you
I
just
think
took
I think Lane Kiffin is a really good coach.
no. So
He's a
what I
really good coach.
think,
He just has to recruit more. He's not able to be on the field coaching with the players at practice as enough.
I'll say this about Ole Miss, and y'all can say what you want. I think Lane Kiffin knows he cannot recruit freshmen with a lot of people in the country. I don't think he's a great high school recruiter, but what he can do is when they're developed, throw them an absolute bag of cash, and he don't have to develop them. I mean, and who knows? It might work. I don't know.
Well, he's got a pretty solid system for running offenses, so he
Yeah.
doesn't really need to develop as much as he needs to make sure they can be implemented into his
Yeah.
system, which has had a history of success.
Yeah. So real quick, if you don't mind, can we go into like 3 minutes of just the panic Auburn and LSU's going through? I want to hear y'all's opinions on that.
Yeah, let's make it the last thing we
So,
do,
like,
and then we'll get out of here.
real quick, Auburn brings in Jackson Arnold, pays him 2.3, 2.5, whatever. They bring in Ashton Daniels, and then they have the best quarterback coming in as a freshman in the country, just sitting there when Arnold's got 2 years of eligibility that I think he'll play out.
Arnold's he's just gonna transfer again.
That,
Probably.
and that's what
I
I'm
think he's
like.
gonna transfer again after this next year.
I understand it. Like they don't want him to play as a freshman. That's totally fine, and I agree with that. Like,
Most of the
there's
time
not-
they shouldn't. Most
There's
of the
not
time
a
they
lot
shouldn't.
of there's not a lot of quarterbacks that can come in.
But
and
if he's
play
not
in the
starting his
SEC as a
sophomore
freshman.
year, I can see him getting out.
Oh, wanting to at least. I don't know if he will,
Which-
but wanting to for
listen,
sure. And but
I-
I think if he wants to get out, they're gonna tell if somehow Daniels is ahead of him in the depth chart or something like that, or Jackson Arnold is still there.
Ashton Daniels
they're
has
gonna tell
no
him to get out.
business on an Auburn Tigers football
No.
team.
I think he has
Nah,
business
he
being
can
he can
he
play.
can gadget like he
But
can do gadget
But if
stuff.
you're bringing,
like
if you got Deuce Knott and then you got Jackson Arnold, why do you need him?
Oh yeah,
bridge
I mean, yeah, like
because you
Like-
don't think because you don't think the freshman's ready.
like
He's
say
bridge.
say Jackson Arnold doesn't pan out this year, then you got Ashton Daniels.
Yep,
Say
the guy that
Jackson Arnold
has-
gets hurt, then you got Ashton Daniels.
Correct.
it's a bunch of Peyton Thorns.
Peyton Thorne's probably better than Ashton Daniel.
No, for sure. I just think
Throwing the
and
ball, yes.
Yes, yes, that's what I meant.
LSU has a few big transfers, not to the extent of some of these teams, but it's like so obvious that the board. Well, Brian Kelly is matching up to $1 million for athletics, so that just shows him and Hugh Freeze are literally fighting for their job in this upcoming season.
This is their this. I thought last year or this year was like the hot seat year. I mean, this
No,
is
this you can,
if not this one, it is next
yeah,
year. It's the hot seat year for them.
you can tell by the moves they're making.
Yeah, there's some desperation to it.
Oh yeah.
Which, hey, I don't know who
You
knows.
see it with Norvell too. Norvell's got some desperation in some of his moves and who he's bringing over, like some
You have to.
sweeping
He-
changes
So,
at coordinator
But
positions.
he came out and said he wants to start focusing more on the incoming freshmen. I don't think he's got enough time. I don't think they're going to give him enough time to develop these guys and
No,
recruit.
because he can't. No, he's got to win at least 6. He has to.
I think he's got to win 8.
I was about to say, I think
You might
he's.
be right, but I say like bowl eligibility is like a bare minimum to me.
Yeah.
I don't think Thomas Castellanos is going to be that guy though that gets
He's
him 8
not
wins.
like he's gonna quit 5 games in. He's not gonna
He's
be
better
happy
than
with
DJ.
stuff.
He's better than DJ.
Hey, I will say this. Speaking of
Yeah, he is.
Castellanos,
Skill wise. Yeah.
Dylan Lonergan going to Boston College is a great fit.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they're doing great. Boston College is recruiting extremely well. They're doing a great job. I actually
Yeah.
think they're gonna have a pretty solid year next year.
Yeah,
Maybe like 8 or 9 wins. I don't know. Like
possibly.
I think they're gonna be
And
pretty
then-
good. Depends on strength of schedule, but
Yeah.
he's
Last
doing
thing,
a great job. Bill's doing a
last
good
thing,
job.
Dabo got his first non-quarterback transfer.
Yes, he did.
So congratulations, Coach
Four
Where's
Dabo.
the
star?
guy
Was
from?
it a
Oh,
4-star?
who's it from?
Or a 3.
From FCS school, ain't it?
Yes, it was from. No, did y'all see that Bill's first signee was a dude from Holy Cross?
Yes. Hold on, it was
The shoe fits, man.
who did they get?
Um,
He was a
It's
receiver.
a 3-star. Is a 3-star.
from
Tristan Smith. Tristan Smith.
from where?
He was at Missouri State.
Oh, Southeast Missouri.
Southeast Missouri.
State.
'Cause
Southeast Missouri State.
I remember that now because one of my friends actually got a baseball or was supposed to get a baseball offer from there and they never got it.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
I remember
Tristan
that
Smith
one
from
now.
Southeast Missouri State. 3-star recruit. Dabo's on the board.
So congratulations, Coach Dab.
There we go.
Yeah. Anything else before we wrap it up?
I think that's all we got.
All right, a little bit shorter of an episode today. Not much. We actually did pretty good on time. Pretty.
Went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did some talk. We did some yapping. Calm before the storm this week. I'm excited. Like I'm excited for these games coming up.
Me too.
I will watch all 4. The TV will be on. I'm probably not going to go anywhere or do anything. I'm definitely not going to a Christmas party. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
as
get a
far as-
grip, Brandon. Come on.
Yes. As far as next week is concerned, change in schedule. We will not be recording on Wednesday. I might have said that earlier, but it's Christmas. Me and Will and maybe Brandon, I'll talk to him, will be recording on Monday. We'll recap the games from the weekend, and we'll probably do some like bowl games that are later on in the week. It'll be a shorter episode, but we'll get a little content out to you guys. I'll update the Instagram this weekend. I'll do a play for Saturday and a play for Sunday. Keep an eye on Will's Twitter. He will do the same. Me and Will will be back on Friday. We'll record for NFL Week 16. And I think we'll have back-to-back weeks. I think it'll be back-to-back Mondays where we record. And then after that, we'll go to regular Wednesday. So,
Yeah.
but we'll keep you guys updated on the schedule for all of those things. Get back on with us on Friday. Hope you guys enjoy the games as much as we will this weekend, and we will see you guys next time.
Yeah, please go follow the Twitter. Doing a bracket challenge for College Football Playoff as well. It's pinned on the Twitter. Literally, all you got to do is just click on it, sign up, fill out the bracket, just see how you stack up against all of us. Our names will be like mine is literally the professor's picks, so you'll know where ours are, see how you stack up against the experts here at HTL. So, yeah, just go sign up, please. We want to get to a lot of people. There's no like fee for entering or anything like that. Of course, we'll give you a shout out whoever wins on the podcast. Maybe even let you in or something like that. We'll see.
Oh yeah, guest appearance. I like that.
But yeah, just let us know. Please follow it. Trying to get some interaction. I've been posting on there just about every day. I've even been posting about NFL. Like I posted about Michael Penix last night. So just
It's
really
about
trying to,
time.
yeah,
It's about
just
time.
really trying to get that growing. I love Twitter. It's my favorite social media app. But yeah, just trying to get us to where we can get some views up, get, and I love the interaction with all the with everyone that listens. So
Yeah.
want to be able to
No,
answer
it's the
some
best part
questions, see what we think, look at it, do all that kind of stuff.
for sure. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
See you.
See you.